She thought she wanted to snatch an odogwu, but what she met made her to pick her shoes, ran and never looked back. Many years ago, there lived a lady called Pamela Edu Franklin. She was 34 years old. Her brains was on point. Her beauty was 10 over 10 minus nothing. Her bank account was the kind that gives bank managers high blood pressure. She had properties, 2 boutiques, 1 fashion academy, a luxury car wash, but manless. Men were coming. But when they saw her mansion and how her house looked like heaven on earth, they suddenly remembered one important errand and disappeared. One even told her, "You're amazing, Pam, but your success makes me feel like a houseboy. I need time to build myself." She laughed. But deep down, she knew, this ring matter was beginning to look like generational warfare. Another one proposed with sweet words. But when she said, "Let's sign a prenup," he screamed like goat in labor. "You don't trust me? Do you think I'm after your money?" And just like that, he vanished with her iPhone charger. Pamela smiled because she already knew he was a parasite. As a successful lady, she had heard all the lines. "You're too intimidating. You need to humble yourself. Your standards are too high. Are you sure you're not doing jazz to get all this money?" But let me shock you, Pamela wasn't even loud or flashy. She was just a woman who refused to dim her light to enter a man's shadow. She was classy and focused, but society kept treating her like she committed a crime by succeeding as a woman. But one Ebuka Onwaliri was her secret admirer, a fresh graduate in mechanical engineering. He was smart, handsome, and was more than 5G network ambitious. But broke like tomorrow is not sure. No job, no house of his own, no car and no land. Just one Android phone, and one shoe that had survived both NYSC and 9 interviews that ended with, "We'll get back to you." Still, he loved Pamela. When he saw her at a party, his heart whispered, "My brother, shoot your shot. If you die, you die." All his friends told him to behave himself. "Guy, she's out of your league. She'll use you to clean her Range Rover tire and she'll friend-zone you." But Ebuka didn't care. He was a man on a mission. Not to collect from her, but to build himself and stand beside her, not behind her. So after the party, when most men were forming boss and hiding their insecurities behind wine glass, he walked up to her, with zero swagger but 100% sincerity. "Hi," he said. "I know I'm probably the poorest guy you've met today, but I promise you I've got value. I love your light and I am not afraid or intimidated by it. I simply want to add to it." Pamela was shocked. She loved his confidence. "Ebuka continued, you're inspiring and I love you. I may not have much now, but I won't always be here. Nigeria is tough, but trust me, I'm tougher." Pamela, who was ripe and ready for marriage, didn't size him with her eyes. She didn't ask, "Where do you work?" and "What car did you drive here?" Instead, when he said his bold words, she gave him audience. They sat, talked, and they laughed. Ebuka told her how he'd been job hunting since NYSC, and how the only engine he had fixed in a while was his neighbor's faulty fan. He told her about his dreams to own a tech company one day. He was honest, raw, vulnerable, but intentional. And Pamela listened with interest. She even said, "You know, it's rare to meet a man who isn't pretending. Most guys try to act richer than Dango just to impress me. But you just showed up as you." Ebuka scratched his head and smiled sheepishly. Then, before he could chicken out, he asked, "Can I have your number?" Pamela didn't stretch her hand and said, "Give me your phone." Ebuka passed his Android phone like someone passing sacrificial offering. She typed her number and said, "Please, don't abuse this privilege." And Ebuka promised not to. Every new month, sharp 12 a.m. like a soldier, Pamela's phone would buzz. "Happy new month, Pamela." She noticed he didn't beg. He didn't pressure her. And he never crossed boundaries or over-familiarity. He would sometimes borrow airtime, just to text her or call her. When she traveled to Dubai for a business summit, he sent her voice notes: "As you board this plane, angels go before you." No turbulence, no delay, and no missing box. Pamela started catching feelings without planning to. Then, exactly 6 months after they met, Ebuka looked at his account balance and it was 10,000 Nigerian nairas. Not $10,000. 10,000 Nigerian nairas, home and abroad. All the money in his life. But still, he summoned courage and texted, "Hi Pamela. If you're free this weekend, I'd love to take you out." He chose a decent but humble restaurant, where the menu didn't ask for your house rent. Pamela agreed, and on that very day, he showed up dressed like potential and smiling like a man who believed in himself. Pamela walked in wearing a simple gown, no designer label, and no intimidating aura. She sat, looked around and said, "I like this place. It feels honest just like you." The date started beautifully, and then the waitress brought the menu. Pamela didn't even mean to do it intentionally, it was just reflex. She ordered what she was used to, one full plate of grilled fish with special sauce, a bottle of sparkling wine, coconut rice and prawns as backup, small chops for appetizer, and as she flipped to the dessert section, Ebuka's soul left his body and returned. Nigerian Naira 150,000, that's what the bill was climbing to. Meanwhile, his entire life savings was 10,050 Nigerian Nairas. He gently leaned forward and said, "Pamela, please, don't be offended. I know this is our first date and I should be playing big man, but I can't lie to you." She looked up, surprised. "All you've ordered so far is about 150,000 Nigerian Nairas. I only have 10,000 Nigerian Nairas. And I don't mean 10,000 Nigerian Nairas for this evening. I mean 10,000 Nigerian Nairas is all I have." He reached for his phone, opened his bank app with trembling fingers, and rotated it gently toward her. Pamela saw it. 10,050 Nigerian Nairas, 67 kobo. Her eyes darted back to him. The waitress, who was bringing serviette, quietly reversed like a lizard that entered the wrong compound. Ebuka inhaled deeply. "I wish I could afford this. I truly do. But I didn't want to borrow, and I couldn't pretend. This is me, raw and real." For a moment, Pamela just stared. Not with disgust, but with deep, quiet curiosity. This guy just bared his truth. In a world where men borrow Benz to impress, rent iPhones for dates, and lie like the devil on LinkedIn, this one came just as he is. She said, "Ebuka, relax. I've got it." He looked shocked. "You'll pay for everything?" "Of course. It's not a problem." She reached into her handbag, pulled out her card, and settled the bill without blinking. The POS screamed, "Transaction approved," but Ebuka's dignity refused to rest. He asked for her account number. When she refused, he said, "Please do this for me. I know it's not much, but I didn't come here to eat your money. I came to spend time with you, please." Pamela gave him, and he forwarded with a thank. That was the moment her heart shifted. Not because of the 10,000 Nigerian Nairas, but because of the integrity behind it. A broke man, who could have begged, but chose to stand like a man. She used his number and forwarded it back to his opai and said, "Thank you so much. You've just earned more respect from me than any rich man ever has." They had a good time, and Pamela didn't say much as they stepped out of the restaurant, but her mind was doing press-up.
That 10,000 Nigerian Naira's gesture unlocked something inside her that even six-pack men with Range Rover keys hadn't been able to reach. She got home, dropped her purse, and sat on her bed replaying the night. This one is different. But different doesn't mean ready. Let me see what he does with little. The next time they spoke, she started letting him into her world slowly. Ebuka on his part didn't rush. He didn't offer advice like most wannabe alpha males. She started investing in him, but wisely. One morning, she asked him casually, "Ebuka, if I send you Nigerian Naira 20K, what would you do with it?" He replied, "Buy airtime, register for a webinar on project management, and save the remaining." She sent it. He did exactly that, and even sent her the course certificate when he completed it. Another time, she randomly asked, "If you had a laptop, what would you do differently?" He said, "I'll stop borrowing from my neighbor to write CVs and maybe start freelancing online." The next day, a delivery man knocked on his gate with a brand new HP laptop with no note, but he knew who sent it. He called her, "Pamela, this is too much. You're not my wife yet." "Thank you, folded hands, dark skin tone," Pamela replied. "That's why I'm not doing too much. I'm only helping where I can." That statement balanced him instantly. He knew she was interested. he started waking up earlier, started going for interviews with freshly typed CVs and well-ironed shirts. He joined a free digital skills program in town and started helping small businesses design flyers for 1,000 Nigerian nairas. One day, she surprised him and bought one of his designs anonymously, just to boost his confidence. He was so excited, he told her on call, "Babe, someone just paid 3,000 Nigerian nairas for my flyer. I feel like I'm building something now. Even if it's small, but it's mine." Pamela smiled and whispered to herself, "He is a rare gem, and if he ever asks me to marry him, I will yes a zillion times." Ebuka had no idea what was coming. Pamela had been working behind the scenes, using her connections to submit his CV to a top tech firm that had once asked her to consult. She didn't tell him, because she didn't want him to feel small or pressured. She just dropped it quietly and stepped back. But Ebuka was also planning his own surprise. One evening, he stood in front of a local jewelry shop with only 6,500 Nigerian nairas in his account. He looked through the glass display. The shopkeeper brought out a simple silver ring with a tiny, struggling stone that looked like it had seen hard times. "This one is not original silver. It will wash." Ebuka swallowed hard. The ring didn't scream class, but it was what he could afford, and it came from the deepest part of his heart. He bought it, got home, cleaned it with his white handkerchief like Holy Communion, then prayed over it. "God, I know this ring is not fine, but please let her see the love behind it, not the price tag." He didn't take her to Dubai. Neither did he hire a band or fly a drone. It was just one small, humble garden. He told her to meet him there for a quick chat. She came, dressed in a silk blouse that screamed wealth with peace of mind. Ebuka was wearing his best shirt, the same one from their first date. She walked up and said, "You sounded serious on the phone. What's going on?" He knelt, with a shaking hand, a racing heart, and that humble silver ring shining like tears in sunlight. "Pamela, I don't have the best ring. I don't even have a car yet. But what I have is love, peace, and a deep desire to make you happy. Will you marry me?" Pamela looked at the ring. It was humble, very humble. The kind of ring that wouldn't even make it to her jeweler drawer on a normal day. But this ring had been bought with intention and clean hands. She looked at him, kneeling, hopeful and trembling. She knelt down with him, took the ring with both hands, slipped it on herself, and whispered, "Yes, I'll marry you." Ebuka was speechless. The man who once couldn't afford airtime to call her had just put a ring, however humble, on the finger of a woman who could buy the shop if she wanted to. She stood, kissed his forehead, and said, "You're already rich, Ebuka. You just need money to catch up." Pamela quietly went to one of her trusted jewelers in Lekki, picked out a sparkling, heart-shaped diamond ring worth over 4.7 million Nigerian nairas and wore it, not to show off, but to protect his dignity. The next day, she was having brunch with her longtime friend Belinda, the one who always knew people's business before they did. Belinda, ever the sharp-eye observer, caught the glint of the diamond on Pamela's finger and screamed, "Pammy, Jesus, wait, is that what I think it is? When did this happen? Who is the lucky billionaire?" Pamela sipped her smoothie, smiled like a well-fed cat, and said, "It still feels surreal. He proposed yesterday." Belinda's jaw dropped. "Pamela, is he a royal family member? Because that ring that's not small boy money. Even that Toke McKinley's engagement ring wasn't this loud." Pamela chuckled and said, "Well, let's just say this is a way of God appreciating me for waiting this long." Belinda stared hard. She knew the ring. She had seen it on a jeweler's page months ago. That was the kind of ring that could buy 2 plots of land in Aja and still leave change for shawarma. Wait, Belinda thought to herself, so this Ebuka guy is secretly wealthy? Quiet billionaire vibes? This guy must be a big fish pretending to be broke. No. I can't let her marry this jackpot alone. And just like that, the seed of silent jealousy was planted. From that moment, Belinda activated her inner snake in human skin. What Belinda didn't know was that Pamela bought the ring herself. and that the man she was eyeing was still managing and trekking to his digital skills class. She admired the ring again, and the price made her to upgrade in her madness. Because in her twisted mind, if charm entered the matter, Ibuka will forget Pamela like last a forgotten password. Pamela understood the world she came from. Big names, big shoes, and big egos. Her father was a retired ambassador. Her mother WSS, the first female professor of political science in their region. And her friends were board members, CEOs, and baby girls for life with trust funds. Ibuka on his was potential in raw form. A mango that still needed to ripen, so she got to work. She told him they were going somewhere, and as they got there, she handed him a sleek, freshly registered Toyota Corolla with leather seats and Bluetooth. "Baby, this is yours now," she said casually. "I can't have my man hopping Kiki and sweating inside Danfo." Ibuka nearly wept. He paced around the compound, opened the car door 5 times, checked the boot, turned on the radio, offed it, on it again, and finally appreciated her. She didn't stop there. She went shopping and filled 3 suitcases with classic suits, native wares, casual designer t-shirts, good perfumes and shoes. Finally, she upgraded to a good house in the heart of the city with air conditioning, smart TV, and she handled the rent discreetly. When Ibuka protested, she smiled and said, "This is not for you. It's for us. My people need to see the man you're becoming, not the boy you were." While Pamela was building, her so-called best friend Belinda was calculating. Every time Pamela spoke of Ibuka, she didn't describe his present struggle. She described a man she envisioned. Belinda's ears would twitch. And because Pamela had never mentioned that she was the one doing behind-the-scenes work, it looked like Ibuka just came out of nowhere, dripping success and mystery. So Belinda, slay queen by day, juju apprentice by night, traveled to a certain river village in Delta State, where her late aunt once told her spiritual help still flowed like hot pepper soup. She didn't go for husband material. She specifically asked the priestess for something dangerous. "Mama, I want touch and follow. That once I touch the man, his brain must relocate. He will see only me, hear only me, and obey only me." The priestess gave her a small bottle of oil and a black soap. She said, "Rub this oil on your hand. When you touch him, speak what you want. Then wash your body with this soap daily. He won't know he's being controlled." Belinda returned to the cutie like a loaded gun. That very day, she saw him, she touched him, and from that moment, Ibuka, the same man who once called Pamela 3 times a day and sent long voice notes about his dreams, suddenly went quiet, and Belinda started entering the same apartment Pamela furnished. She would show up wearing her best short gown and fake innocence. She would sit cross-legged and play romantic music in the background. Ibuka wasn't himself. He was under spiritual Bluetooth, connected to a charm he didn't download himself. Pamela noticed the changes, the silence, the hesitation, the "let me call you back" that never called back. But she didn't accuse him. By this time, Belinda was already acting like First Lady of the Kingdom of Manipulation. Ever since she did her evil touch and follow ritual, she'd been sneaking in and out of Ibuka's life like a thief. It was now time to move to her next agenda, which was to start collecting his money. One day, she wore her waist beads and the rub of the oil on her body and said, "Babe, I need $150K to do my hair and nails. Can you help me?" Ibuka tilted his head like goat that just heard thunder in dry season. "150K for hair and nails?" She rolled her eyes and gave him that her, "Oh, please, look. Yes, now. Just small money. What's 150K to you? You that bought Pamela a whole diamond ring. If you can do that for her, you can do better for me." Boom. That line was the accidental thunderbolt that struck the jazz chord in Ibuka's spirit. He sat up slowly, like someone waking up from a long nap inside shrine. "Wait, what did you say?" "The diamond ring. The one you used to propose to Pamela. Everybody saw it. I saw it. You mean you'll buy a ring for millions and be telling me you don't have 150K? Ibuka's heart skipped. The ring he bought for Pamela was 6,500 Nigerian nairas from one local jewelry kiosk. The diamond Belinda was talking about? Pamela wore it whenever she went out with her friends. She hyped him as a man of means and protected his image. Meanwhile, when they were alone, she always wore the simple ring he gave her. In Belinda's mind, the charm hasn't really gotten to him, since he claimed he didn't buy the ring for her, so she thought of sleeping with him to tie him down completely. She believed she needed body-to-body covenant to seal it, so she tried again. She wore what she called her battle lingerie. She started touching him, whispering, "You need a woman who understands your body. Pamela doesn't know you. I can take care of you, but guess what?" His third leg refused to respond. Not even a humble twitch. Ibuka was confused. Belinda was even more confused. She tried again. Still nothing. Like that part of him took the early rapture. She came back 2 days later, with new plan, new outfit, and even small sachet of follow-come oil she rubbed behind her ear. Same thing. That was when frustration turned to hatred. Money she didn't get, intimacy she didn't get. It was purely bad market for her. So she started calling Pamela behind her back, planting seeds among friends. This Pamela, she's always forming like her man is perfect. That guy is not even sweet like that. You people don't know what I know. All this hype she's giving him, it's fake and pure packaging. Pamela's still unaware of what had been happening. Heard the whispers, and she saw the shady WhatsApp statuses. She called Belinda directly and calmly said, "I've been hearing things. And since you're bold enough to talk behind me, be bold enough to say it now." Belinda, fuming and embarrassed that her charm mission failed, lashed out. "Pamela, beg, stop painting this guy like he's some king. He's not even all that. You act like he's so wealthy, but he is empty." Pamela breathed in slowly, and then replied, "My dear, everything I say about my man is what I see in him. And whether you like it or not, he is that man, because I see his future, not his situation. And one more thing, he is not your man, so you will never know him the way I do." Belinda became emotionally disorganized. The confidence she had in her lies began to evaporate. Even her own gossip circle started shrinking, because none of her updates were adding up anymore. To save face, Belinda did what most guilty people do. She started detaching. She stopped replying Pamela's texts quickly. She wouldn't show up at brunch or girls' night out. When Pamela tagged her on Instagram, she'd untag herself. When mutual friends asked her what's going on with you and Pam, she'd just say, "Nothing really. People just grow apart." Pamela noticed. At first, she didn't want to believe it. She tried all she could to restore their relationship, but nothing she did worked. So she told herself, not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you. And from that day, she chose peace. She chose her man, and she chose herself. One evening, Pamela and Ibuka were together when Ibuka said it. "Babe, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I don't know what really happened, but during the time you traveled months ago, your friend Belinda used to come around, like, often." Pamela didn't interrupt. "I sincerely don't know how everything happened, but I know she was saying weird things and touching me too, asking for money. When I didn't give her, she stopped coming." Pamela didn't say a word, but in her spirit, the dots were connecting like Wi-Fi. The distance Belinda created out of nowhere, the talk of her hyping her man and all that. She called Belinda with another number and pleaded for them to see. Belinda, thinking maybe it was a reconciliation she had been waiting for to sneak back into Pamela's circle, showed up in her over-saby fake smile and floral jumpsuit. Pamela didn't waste time. "I know what happened, Belinda. I know you used charm and you tried to break what I was building. But when your plans failed, you started dragging my name in mud." Belinda tried to laugh. "Haba now, Pamela. It's not that deep. I only—" Pamela raised her hand, interrupting her. She stood up slowly, holding her glass of water like a queen delivering judgment. "You see, your type doesn't change. When small evil fails, you look for a bigger one. When jazz fails, you look for scandal, and when shame comes, you try to twist the story. So no, I'm not fighting you. I'm not blocking you, and I'm not hating you. I just called you here, so you know what you did is no longer hidden. Thank you for being the younger sister of Judas the Betrayal." Then she walked out. Belinda regretted her actions, but it was too late because no one trusted her again. Pamela and Ibuka got married. And from that day, Pamela became his personal cheerleader, prayer partner, and strategic connector. She introduced him to the right mentors, used her connections to plug him into panels, pitch meetings, and projects. Ibuka didn't abuse the access, and he didn't form boss overnight or start wearing fake Rolex. He respected the process, worked hard, and delivered excellence. Within 2 years, he became the co-founder of a rising tech company, and Pamela would walk into events, and people would whisper, "That's his wife," the quiet force behind his greatness. Ibuka never forgot. At home, he treated Pamela like royalty. He served her meals sometimes just to say thank you, surprise her with staycations, handwritten notes, breakfast in bed, and random flowers with romantic notes. He never allowed her to dry up financially, and their love never expired. Dear viewers, what are your thoughts on this story? Have you ever seen or experienced a Belinda in your life? Do you believe in building with your partner like Pamela did? Let's gist in the comments. Don't just watch quietly. Drop your comment below. And please give a thumbs up. If you haven't joined this family yet, please subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell so you never miss the next story that's coming your way. Until then, bye.